What is the delete script by Wesley Virgin? In today's video, we're going to take a detailed and clear look at this question so you can fully understand what the program is, how it works, and why it has gained so much attention in the personal development space. Before we dive deeper, if you're curious and want to experience it directly, you can tap the direct access link in the description below to instantly listen to the complete delete script. Sometimes the fastest way to understand something like this is simply to hear it for yourself and see how it feels in real time. So what is the delete script by Wesley Virgin? At its core, the delete script is a personal development audio program designed to help reshape thought patterns and reduce limiting beliefs. The program centers around a short, 7-minute audio track that is meant to be listened to at night, right before falling asleep. This timing is not random. It's actually a key part of how the program is designed to work. The idea behind the delete script is based on accessing what's known as the hypnagogic state. This is the natural in-between phase, where your mind transitions from wakefulness into sleep. During this state, your brain becomes more relaxed and, according to many personal development approaches, more receptive to suggestion. Instead of actively analyzing or resisting ideas, your mind is more open to absorbing them. This is where the concept behind the delete script becomes interesting. The program uses this window of mental openness to introduce positive, structured messages aimed at influencing the subconscious mind. It's called delete script because the intention is to help delete or weaken negative internal patterns, things like self-doubt, fear around money, or recurring limiting beliefs that may hold you back. The audio itself combines several elements. It includes guided motivational messaging, carefully constructed affirmations, and language patterns inspired by neuro-linguistic programming, often referred to as NLP. These NLP-inspired techniques are designed to influence how thoughts are framed internally, encouraging a shift away from negative self-talk toward more constructive and empowering patterns. If we look at it from a broader perspective, the delete script can be thought of as a type of cognitive shift model. In other words, it's a structured approach aimed at helping your mind move from one set of habitual thoughts to another. Instead of trying to consciously force change during the day, the program works more subtly by targeting the subconscious during a naturally receptive state. One reason this approach appeals to many people is its simplicity. There's no complex routine, no long sessions, and no need to actively figure things out while listening. You simply play the audio as you fall asleep, allowing the process to happen in the background. For individuals with busy schedules or those who find traditional self-improvement methods overwhelming, this kind of passive format can feel much more accessible. Now, it's important to understand how programs like the delete script fit into the bigger picture of personal development. Techniques inspired by neuro-linguistic programming have been widely used for years, particularly in areas related to mindset, performance, and behavior change. Many people report meaningful improvements when they consistently apply these types of methods, especially when it comes to confidence, focus, and emotional control. At the same time, it's helpful to keep expectations realistic. While a tool like the delete script can support a cognitive shift model by influencing thought patterns, lasting change typically happens when these internal shifts are combined with real-world action. In other words, listening to the audio can help reshape how you think, but taking practical steps like setting goals, building skills, and following through on decisions is what turns that new mindset into tangible results. Think of it as a partnership between your internal and external efforts. The delete script may help quiet negative mental noise or reduce resistance, making it easier for you to take action. But your daily choices and consistency still play a major role in the outcomes you experience over time. Another point worth mentioning is consistency. Like most mindset-based tools, the impact of the delete script tends to build gradually. Listening once or twice may not create a dramatic shift, but repeated exposure can reinforce the messages and strengthen new patterns. This is where the short 7-minute format becomes an advantage. It's easy to stick with, which increases the likelihood of long-term use. So when someone asks, "What is the delete script by Wesley Virgin?" the most accurate answer is that it's a focused, audio-based personal development tool designed to support subconscious reprogramming. It uses a combination of timing, language, and repetition to encourage a shift in how you think and feel, particularly around areas like confidence, money, and self-perception. If you're interested in exploring how this type of cognitive shift model feels in practice, the best next step is to try it for yourself. You can tap the direct access link in the description below to instantly listen to the complete delete script. That way you can form your own impression and decide whether it's something that fits into your personal routine. At the end of the day, tools like the delete script are about creating small but meaningful changes in how you relate to your thoughts. And sometimes, even a subtle shift in perspective can open the door to bigger changes over time.